call this May 8, 2019 meeting to order. I'm sorry, Madam Co-Reporter, are you set up?
Yes, I'm ready to go.
Okay. All right, why don't we begin with public comments?
Good morning. As you know, I'm Gloria Gilman from Phila Neighborhood Network. I'm from the Protect Our Vote Coalition. I would like to clarify for the record why the Express Vote XL is not the most accessible voting system for persons with disabilities, despite Commissioner Deeley's assertion that it is. What it is an attempt to use disabled voters to justify bad choice. All voters should be able to vote privately and independently, including voters with a wide variety of disabilities and challenges. No single voting method now exists that can meet all accessibility demands. Universal accessibility means allowing voters to choose the method that is most accessible for them. Having both hand-marked paper ballots and one ballot marking device in every division is more universally accessible. It's better for the many voters who are less comfortable with technology. Voters with language and reading challenges can take their time at private booths. It's more accessible for voters with screen sensitivities. Deaf and elderly voters may prefer paper. It's more private and accessible for voters who use wheelchairs. Shorter lines are better for voters with physical and mental health limitations. The Help America Vote Act requires equity, not equality. All citizens don't have to vote the same way, but all citizens must be able to vote. Providing touchscreens for all voters would not enfranchise more voters than hand-marked paper ballots with a ballot marking device in each polling place. It would, however, disenfranchise and harm many voters both with and without disabilities. The Express Vote XL is even less accessible to voters with disabilities than other touchscreens. The Pennsylvania Certification Report lists major accessibility flaws that make it an unacceptable choice for voters with vision, hearing, cognitive, and mobility challenges. The Express Vote XL received harsher reviews from the accessibility test group than any other voting machine. Most concerning, however, is that not one of the participants were able to verify their paper ballot, and every participant had at least one problem. Examples of such problems were that people couldn't verify their ballots, inconsistent navigation, poor instructions, confusing selection, deselection when using straight party voting. Doesn't read party affiliations in the audio ballot. Blind participants were not sure what was happening during the ballot printing process. And there were many problems with the screen design. Quote, on the XL, selecting large text changes the XL screen to a contest-by-contest display, but doesn't make the text size very much larger. This forces low vision users who simply need slightly larger text into using the audio ballot. One participant with very low vision put his face so close to the screen that he accidentally made selections with his nose. Please let us put to rest the notion that Philly had to select this system in order to properly accommodate those with disabilities. That reasoning is just one of the bill of goods that has been sold to us.
Thank you. All right, next public comment, please.
Oh, it is a singer.
This one up, the other one's there.
Thank you. Very kind. Hi, everyone. I'm Cindy Carey. I have been a judge of election since birth, it feels like. I know this stuff inside out. I love it. I live it. I am on the ground. I have seen so many elections. I know what works and I know what does not work. Well, no, I don't know what works. I'm not sure how to solve the problem, but I do know what the problems are. So I will be quick. These are the issues with the XL. Computer scientists nationwide, worldwide, have determined, without a doubt, that if it contains software, it can and will be hacked. That's where we are at this moment in time. This is a fact, it's not an opinion. And this has 4 ports of entry: the power button, the touch screen, and the printer and the scanner. All four of those components require software. They can all be hacked. This is unacceptable. I hope that you would agree with that. Here's another perfect example of what comes out when they print a ballot. Can you read this? This cannot be audited by a human being. Human beings cannot read a barcode. Again, this should be off the table due to that. Also, I'm going to have to zoom in here on this. The Mueller report gives us chapter and verse why this is so crucial. Let's see, a number of IRA employees created individual U.S. persons. Cohen suggested that the Trump Must-Have project could be used to increase candidate Trump's chances at being elected. Buddy, our boy can become president of the USA, and we can engineer it. I will get all of Putin's team to buy in on this. You and I will get Donald and Vladimir on a stage together very shortly. We can't allow this. Let's see, what else? I'm sorry, I should have tabbed this, and I did not. Oh, yeah, Prince and Bannon discussed foreign policy issues, and Prince, who is Russian, recommended who should be appointed.
Any more comments on the business of this commission?
Well, I'm trying to give you facts that show you why, if it has software, it is not, it should not be considered as a, okay. And these are just all more from the Mueller report, which is well known. The only other thing, the FBI director warned anew on Friday about Russia's continued meddling in American elections, calling it a significant counterintelligence threat. This is from Saturday, April 27th. So there is a ton of evidence. Please do the right thing. Go back to the boards. You need qualified judges of election on this decision. I don't know what your experience is. Have you guys ever worked in election?
Thank you for your comment.
Can you answer?
Thank you for your comment.
As a commissioner, you're supposed to answer
Ma'am.
citizens'
Yeah.
questions. Because you work for us, remember?
We're not going to debate.
I don't want to debate, I just want to ask if you
The
have
debate is
ever
not
worked in
being made.
election.
Thank
Have
you
you
for
ever
your
worked in elections,
This is
sir?
public comment. It's not
Okay.
commissioners.
I guess that gives us our answer.
Next speaker, please.
I'm Michael Meehan. I'm chairman of the Republican City Committee. I'm here because I just came from election court, and we had a problem down there because where some Democrats wrote themselves in as minority inspectors, okay, and they're failing to appear, okay. So I've just received a conditional order in cases that the petitioner who filed a petition and the commissioners were served, and the commissioners failed to appear. If the elected one does not show up by 7 o'clock, the appointed one's going to be the minority commissioner for that day, okay? And there are some issues in that, I know, but I'm for full election boards, so the elections are conducted. With that, I'll give you one more thing. An independent filed for judge of election in the 26th division of the 22nd ward, okay? Apparently he spoke to the judge of elections before, and the judge of elections had a stroke and told him he resigned. Well, the commissioners were duly served with a filed petition, and nobody showed up. Now, Judge Ivy Fox hasn't granted the order yet, but she was going to speak to the commissioner's office to see what their position is. So it's just an FYI. Thank you for your time serving.
Thank you. All right, next comment, please.
Good morning, Commissioner, Your Honors. My name is Murielle McCarthy. I'm a resident of Philadelphia and a member of March on Harrisburg, which is a member of Protect Our Vote Coalition. I have attended and testified at several sunshine meetings, and yesterday at the budget hearing, I listened to Deputy Commissioners Custodio and Bluestein. Judges Furlong and Campbell, you are appointed here to replace Commissioners Deeley and Schmidt, and yet these commissioners, the other deputies, are exerting control of the Board of Elections. For example, Mr. Custodio and Bluestein reported to and answered the questions of City Council members and about their bosses.
Louder, please.
The deputies reported to and answered the questions of City Council members about their bosses, former Board of Elections Commissioners, selection of the Excel system. They, who are exempt deputies, are here every week at these meetings, despite the fact that their bosses are recused. They also are talking about how they're preparing to test machines and train people to work on new, not yet paid-for machines they claim are a done deal. Commissioner, in your honors as the Board of Elections, it is very disturbing to know that you were not told about 83 new machines that were delivered to city property and paraded in front of the media by Commissioner Deeley and Deputy Custodio, who is recused from her current role because she's a candidate, even though Mr. Custodio testified yesterday that the Office of Procurement authorized the delivery on April 25th, evidently not even telling the board. So I ask you here today to draw a line in the sand, respect the intent of the law that these deputies should not be allowed to be involved in the Board of Election procurement process and inner workings, just as their bosses are recused. I believe their continued involvement in the procurement process is essentially an illegal extension of Commissioners Deeley and Schmidt, and in so doing, they have voided your authority as the current Board of Election. Board members, please provide the public with clarity on what authority these two deputy commissioners are acting under. Doing otherwise condones this improper behavior and sets a precedent that despite commissioners needing to recuse themselves as candidates, their deputies can continue to act on their behalf and in their interests. Members of the Board of Elections, you are appointed to oversee Philadelphia's voting system, and the process is moving without you and continues to move in the wrong direction. But the city has time to select a safer, cheaper voting system that won't risk the rights of 1 million voters, including yourselves and your families. So please stop wasting time, take charge, and choose a better voting system.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. Commissioner, Your Honors, I came before you before to talk about, it was about a month ago, about
Your name, please.
Janie Mogil. I came before you to talk about the process, that it was unfair, that it lacked transparency, and I asked you to vacate as your previous decision, as the controller has urged you to do so, and I continue to do so today, to urge you, because there is still time, to vacate that decision and do a fair process. I was recently Election Protection Director for Pennsylvania for the midterm elections, leading the largest nonpartisan coalition of good government groups, which includes the League of Women Voters of Pennsylvania, for which I'm a state board member. Knowing that Pennsylvania, and we heard some testimony about this, is indeed a target for hacking, and that our election security is at risk, groups like the League have been working steadfastly to support Pennsylvania's county commissioners. And that's everything from urging funding support, which you all need to get machines, as well as doing assessments, giving testimony, as well as appearing at demonstrations to see the various voting machines that counties may use. But here in Pennsylvania, we have the exact opposite. None of that happened with regards to the procurement process in Philadelphia. So all eyes are on Philadelphia now. It has become much bigger than just a county local issue. To choose these machines, because you are the largest county in Pennsylvania, and you're one of the earliest to choose a machine. And what the city is saying is that it's okay to have this vital decision be shrouded in secrecy without explanation for what appears to be the most expensive, least secure option. I brought copies of a recent press release by the League of Women Voters so that you had a copy. And this is also to encourage the legislature to provide funding to counties. But again, I wanted to urge you that Philadelphia is being looked at, and that we don't want to be setting a dangerous precedent, that this is okay to have a procurement process that lacks transparency and is essentially unfair. We've heard about the best value judgment, but really, how do we know as citizens that this was indeed the best value? We still don't know that, and particularly you as Board of Elections members do not know why it was chosen as the best value. Well, I understand you were appointed, Your Honors. You are now responsible as if you were sitting board members. It is within your authority to question this unfair process. Does it not concern you that each week you get testimony that comes back with new information highlighting this lack of transparency, this false urgency of time, and the bizarre appearance of 83 machines without a contract negotiated and signed? I had noted when I first spoke to you that there seems to be this stink around all of this, and now it's become a perpetual stench. People are looking, it's even become now national media is looking at what Philadelphia is doing. So we ask you, because people want accountable government more than ever, and you have the ability to right this ship. You certainly do not want to be looking back and thinking, what if? You are in this unique position to stop, assess, and clarify that this is indeed the best decision for Philadelphians. There are parts of this process that are muddy, and you have that power to fix what is broken. Pennsylvanians and Philadelphians deserve fair, transparent, and open governance. And there is still time, and you must act now. Please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next comment, please.
Morning, Commissioner and Your Honors. My name is Rich Garella. I guess we've met. Commissioner Clark, you said a week ago, how the machines came, I don't know. Speaking of these 83 machines. Who's paid for them, I don't know. All three of us will find out how. We are the board, so no decision should be made without the board knowing what's going on. So I'm asking the board, do you now know what's going on? And the fact is, in a sunshine meeting, the agency is encouraged to answer the public's questions if it can. So the question is, do you now know what is going on? Because we as concerned citizens need to know that you're not just placeholders, but that you actively run the Board of Elections. Pennsylvania put you, Judge Campbell, and you, Judge Furlong, where you're sitting. And for a very important reason. It's because Lisa Deeley and Al Schmidt are candidates for election right now. Yet, we see their exempt, politically appointed deputies here every week. We see them representing the city commissioners to city council, talking about how they're testing machines, training people on those machines, and so forth, from now until the November elections, in which their direct bosses may well both be on the ballot. We see Commissioner and candidate Lisa Deeley herself with unfettered access to these machines. And guess who knows about all that? Nick Custodio. Wherever there's activity that should be authorized by the Board of Elections, there's Nick Custodio. He's really a one-man Board of Elections by the look of it. This is Nick Custodio, whose career is defined by his relationship with Local 98 and the building trades, just as Commissioner Deeley's is. Journalists are connecting the dots to Local 98, the building trades, and the influence of Johnny Doherty. To allow this to go on, to allow this powerful, unelected political organization to hijack Our elections, for its own purposes, whatever they may be, is an abdication of your duty to actually run the Board of Elections, a duty assigned to you by the Commonwealth, whose laws you have sworn to uphold. As Commissioner Clark said last week, you are the board. Your duty to the people of Pennsylvania is to ensure that elections in Philadelphia, our elections, are conducted properly and fairly. Are you going to do it? This is your chance, right now.
Thank you. All right, any other comments?
Good morning. My name is Vicki Sajek, and I just learned within the last few weeks about this issue with the voting machine. So I'm coming to you just as a voter off the street. So I was at this meeting last week, I was at the council meeting yesterday. And so this is what I've learned. Sure, this is what I've learned. I've learned that machines can be hacked. I've looked at two videos on it, and it seems pretty simple that anybody could hack these machines. And so for me as a voter and anybody that I've talked to, that's it. If it can be hacked, it doesn't belong here in Philadelphia. The other thing that I learned in the meeting yesterday, because Councilman Don brought up the whole money issue, and it started that I think it was 19 million, and then he asked a question, and oh well, there's another couple million, and then he asked another question, and then it was, oh, it's another 1,500,000, and somehow I got up to 31 million. So the machine, from what I understand, is considerably more expensive than any other machine that was put out for consideration. That also doesn't make sense to me. I used to be a business person. I would never make a decision like that. Then there's the lack of ease of the machine. And I've heard how it works. I don't even know if it has a curtain or not. I don't know if it's private, but you go in and you're faced with this new thing, and you don't even know when you get there that there are going to be these new machines. I don't care what kind of publicity, that 98% of people are going to get up. Say, what is this? How do I do this? I don't know, what? And then you get in and you punch, and then this thing comes out, and I saw one of them. I couldn't read it without my reading glasses. So did I bring my reading glasses, and so forth and so on. It seems not user-friendly. And who's going to help us? And if something goes wrong, how is it going to, be corrected? And it's going to make the situation really tough for a voter. I mean, I'm 80 years old, and I still, every time I walk in, I think, oh my God, please, Vicki, do this right, because it's really important. And I sit there and I look at it, and I look at it again, and I look at it again, and even when I do the thing, I think, oh, I hope I did it right, So then, if we, especially for older people, if we have this on a, what do you call it, whatever, it's going to be very daunting, and it's going to take a lot of time, and I don't think people will be able to be trained to tell us how to do it, and when the problems come up, and then there's lines for these upcoming elections that are going to be huge. So these are the reasons I'm asking you not to vote for it. To tell you the truth, I have not heard one reason why to vote for it. I mean, I know you're not allowed to talk to me, right? Okay. So, but I haven't. I haven't heard one reason why it should. So if you go out in the street and stop 10 constituents and say, I have to make a decision, should I vote for a machine that can be hacked, that is millions of dollars more expensive than the next one, and it's going to be really hard to use? What do you think the voters out there are going to say? So I'm asking you to vote against it. Thank you.
All right. Any other persons who would like to comment? Hearing no responses, let's go to our supervisor reports.
Morning, Your Honor. Morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
As of today, the county board has received 1,491 civilian.
Seminar cards, and the documents is prepping street list for distribution.
Any, there's no other old business, any new business? Meeting's adjourned.
Yeah, just some chairs.
Yeah.
Problem 6649.
6649.
Take care.
Thank you. Here, I want this chair. I know.